Hello guys and welcome to another video, and this time we got daily race overview, but this time Kyoto, Driving Park, Yamagiwa plus Miyabi in the reverse version. So this time I will try to explain what I do when I start the week. So basically I do a couple of very slow laps just to try to get up to pace, which is not usually the case. I usually take a while, maybe an hour and a half just to get up to pace so I can even start the race at some decent level. If I'm not doing that, then I'm probably gonna start at the bottom 10, which is not usually where I want to start. So you can see me here just picking a penalty. So this is what usually my week looks like when I'm making track guides. Half a second penalty, it can get discouraging quite a lot. So basically, I mean, not a very familiar combo. I think I've never done this combo in this class, maybe in group 2, but it was actually a while. So half a second penalty, didn't even get the lap time in. And what I usually do, top 10 superstar, watch the first guy. So I was watching Fire for a while, just matching up his braking points. So you can see here he's braking about in between 100 and the 50 meter sign and exiting very heavily, very heavily on the brakes and exiting super hard in that second gear and early upshifting in the third. As you can see here, not a lot of braking going in, and he's really cutting the chicane. So I found out that if you cut the chicane in the right way, you can pick up like 2/10. So that's huge for me. I think that's even huge for anyone that's trying to do this track. So basically what you have to do, just go there, have a look at the replay. As you can see, I'm going back and forth all around, and I'm just trying to find the perfect balance and perfect perfect braking zones and perfect things that he's doing. So you can see going over and over and over again until I really find out what he's doing. So here, fourth gear, a little bit of braking, and of course you gotta account in for the car that he's using. He's using the Atenza. So if you're using another car, then you also gotta adjust your braking points, but I usually go with what's the fastest at that week, and this was Atenza for this week. I mean, for the race I was using the Megane Trophy. So it had a little bit of a different approach, but pretty much the same braking zones and the same stuff. And then, here it goes, 28.8, my first attempt after watching the replay. 27.1, slowly improving 26.8, and again improving slightly, again 26.779, and then we're gonna reach 26, kind of mid 26s, but I actually want to be quite a lot faster, and this is where I stopped. So I stopped at 26.4. I think it was a decent time just to get up to, just to get into racing. I improved my qualifying time by a little bit, just I think 40 thousandths of a second until I really got into racing, but it was just not enough. So basically at this point I was a second and a half slower than the leader, than the world record, of course. But I mean, it's all about racing. So starting from P5 at this race wasn't really an issue. So for me, it was kind of good starting kind of in, I would say, not in the podium places, trying to work my way up and really seeing if I can match up the guys in front. As you can see, Troll, I don't even know how to pronounce that, but that's Fire. That's PR1 Fire. I don't know any Swedish driver that is this fast and that is this fast in the WRX, because he usually likes to drive the WRX. I don't know why. I'm not a big fan of that car, but he's a very quick driver in that car. As you can see, the most important thing in the first couple of corners is just not to lose the slipstream. So if you lose the slipstream, then basically you're gonna lose a lot of time just trying to keep up with someone. Then probably someone's gonna attack you from behind. You just keep on losing time if you don't do a couple of first corners very well. So nothing much I could have done there, and until I got to this point, it's very tricky. I gotta say, it's a very tricky corner. I lost the momentum, I lost the speed and almost spun. But the good thing is that Tunable Coyote was aware of what I did. He knew that I was up to pace, hopefully. If you're watching this, I don't know if I was up to pace, but either way, he gave me a push, and all of a sudden I saw Fire and Shobeling. They were going in some kind of a fight, I would say. So I think Fire was just trying to make a move stick, so making his car in a better position. But it's very hard to see a person in front of you if you're very close to them, because from my view, maybe he's using a different view, but from my view, you cannot really see the corner that is coming up. So basically, if you miss the apex here, if you miss the curb, so inside of the curb is huge here. So if you touch the inside of the curb and do it perfectly, you're gonna get a ton of time. So basically, Fire and Shoblin were fighting, and I kind of decided, okay, I'm not gonna fight too much. If Tunable Coyote wants to go for a move, I'll just let him pass. There is literally no point in fighting. I want to use the slipstream, I want to get in front, but Fire, actually, I don't even know how he did that. It was a super move from the outside. He managed to get that move done. I think it's because of the acceleration of the WRX. The Megane Trophy is just not there, considering the acceleration, but I mean, all good, I guess, all good. So now I got Shoblin right in front of me, and I could have kind of see that Mehdi and Key, they were starting to pull away. 2.4 seconds is, I wouldn't say it's quite a lot, but it's I mean, you know, it can get tricky if you start fighting like I did here. I didn't want to go for a move. That's what I gotta say. I didn't really want to go for a move, though, so there was kind of an unfortunate touch. I just wanted to get a perfect exit. So here I was bumper to bumper with him, but as you can see, I'm just trying to take it easy around these couple of corners, because if you only make one wrong move, if you only start spinning or sliding too much here, then you're just gonna lose the slipstream. And if there wasn't Tunable Coyote in front of behind me, if there was someone else, I don't think we would be still in this position. So it's good to have someone that already knows how to race properly, not to go for a move every single time, because you're just gonna lose time. And now Shoblin, I think he just got a kind of a bad line through here. It wasn't that bad, but I think he just lost a bit of time, so I followed his line and didn't manage to stay up to him so super closely. So here, going a little bit wider. So this was my approach. Going a little bit wider, maybe getting a better exit on the straight, but if you ride in the Megane Trophy, you know that it doesn't really have a great acceleration until, I mean, unless you really nail the exit, you're just not gonna be able to go for a move in this first corner. So I kind of decided, okay, I'm gonna fake it a little bit. Maybe he does a defensive line, but of course he didn't. It's not, you know, he doesn't fall for that, I guess. So here I just tried to follow him. So nothing much going on there, just following Shoblin, not doing any crazy movements, not doing any crazy stuff right here. But here I decided, okay, maybe I can squeeze myself into here, but you're on the outside, you're not gonna get through here. You gotta catch the inside of that curb, and again, it's the inside of this curb. So basically, if you're on the outside, it's just not gonna stick. So basically, I was trying to adjust my lines, maybe point the car in the direction of just faking a move or something. I mean, these are all the things you should be looking for when you know you got more pace than the guy in front of me. So basically I just stayed behind him, and this was the point where I decided to go into the pits. So it was a mandatory stop. You don't even have to change the tires, you don't even have to change anything. It's just a stop, so basically it's a stop and go penalty. I'm not sure why they did this, but I mean, we'll probably never know. So I was in clean air until I got into traffic a lap later. I decided to go for an early move onto the German, but he was super aware of me, and I gotta say thank you for not fighting me too much. If we started fighting here, I would be completely lost in this race. So he probably knew, okay, this is maybe not my race. I just want to use the slipstream, which is kind of usually a good strategy to do. So if you start to fight someone that is already a little bit faster than you, I mean, it's just not going to end up well. You're just going to keep on losing time. And I actually got very, very close to Key, up to P6, and you can see a lot of guys coming out of the pits. So my undercut didn't quite work out. Shoblin was still in front of me into P5. I was into P6, but I mean, I was really hoping that I can get something out of this race. So I think I had a little bit more pace around some corners, but he was just not able to get the pace down there. We had our sector, so I think he had like the first and the second sector. Later on I had the third and fourth, I think. I'm not really sure what about the sectors, but the middle of the track, I think I was a little bit faster there, and I was just trying to use that slipstream, as I said before. Shoblin, as you can see, not trying to do much, so basically braking a little bit later, positioning the car in the straight line, and not really doing something stupid. Up to third gear, and I was kind of fortunate here that he did a little mistake. I gave him a tap here. I thought that he might just try to defend this one, but he didn't. So I went down the inside and again took the inside of this curb. Just see the difference. So taking the inside of the curb, I'm just getting so much more rotation and getting a super exit here. So he just didn't quite manage to follow that one, and then I tried to turn in, gave him a little bit of space. I think we made a little contact, but really nothing much, not even something you should consider. So here I was up to P5. It was looking good at this point, so 2 laps to go, up to P5, key in front of me. So yeah, I know I got a very fast driver in front of me, but I got the slipstream, so that's huge on this track. If you got the slipstream, I think you're picking up pretty much. If you're like a second slower than the guy in front of you, you're gonna get that time. So here, just trying to follow. He does a little mistake right here, going a bit wide on the grass, and I had to do it. I just had to squeeze myself into here, and as you can see, key and Tunable Coyote getting a half a second penalty, and I knew it. Okay, if I can stay behind Tunable Coyote and don't make any stupid moves, don't just try to, I'm just trying to kind of keep it clean, keep it very close, just trying to go a little bit defensive here. Key goes from the outside. Tunable Coyote, given that half a second penalty, he knows that he's probably gonna lose a place or two, but as I kind of find out, everyone behind me and in front of me had a penalty, so I was pretty much all alone without a penalty here, and just waiting for them to serve their penalty. So it's not a huge penalty, I gotta say, but it loses you a fair amount of speed and a fair amount of time. So as you can see, half a second penalty in front of me and half a second penalty behind me. Also, Key and Shaoblin had that penalty. So I just decided to wait. So here, as you can see, I'm not risking anything. I'm just trying to get the widest possible exit. Getting a little tap from behind, but it was nothing. So actually, Tunable Coyote got a pretty huge gap. I will say not a huge gap, but it was like a half a second. So he didn't lose that much time. So this means now that he's got the slipstream, which is very important on this track. Instead of losing like a second when he served this penalty, now he was very close to me, and I couldn't quite manage to break the slipstream gap to more than 7.5 tenths. So he was there. I was quite aware that he might try to go for a move later on, because of course it's the last lap of the race. He might try to do something, but yeah, these couple of corners I drove really well. I kept it close to the inside, putting the power down very early into third gear, and I kind of noticed that you gotta rev up the car here in third gear unless you want to lose a lot of acceleration. And again here, just look at my braking. So basically I'm not even braking, maybe up to 10%, and just using the inside of that curb. I didn't see that these guys were using the inside of the curb and didn't quite get the acceleration that good. So basically the top speed wasn't there, but he was there. He was very quick in this last couple of corners. Also he had the slipstream, but I just tried to take it really easy and just going for the defensive move. I kind of thought at that point it was maybe too late. Maybe I just covered him off a bit, but I took my line. He got a perfect exit. So basically, if we were like 500 meters later, I think he would have got this. And yeah, managed to take this P3, and he was not even a tenth behind me, half a tenth behind me. I think this just plays out really well for me. Those penalties really helped me a lot, but in the end, it's P3. I'm gonna take it, and a pretty good race, I would say. So I wasn't really sure that this week is gonna bring something new to me, some value to me, but it was actually quite an interesting week of racing. We still have a full week in front, and as you can see here, just the tiniest gaps in between the cars, and very good racing. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and in my last video I forgot to say, without further ado, but it's the end of the video, I'm gonna say it either way. Without further ado, guys, let's end this video. Bye.